Just hit live. See where this goes. Got it. Hold on. It's loading. And we're live.
And we are live. Welcome to episode number 44 of the Risk Reward Show presented by Risk Reward Media. My name is Chris Mercado, and as usual, I am joined by
Eric Stroman. What's up, everybody? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We welcome you to the Risk Reward Show, where we help you all find the upside in your careers, in your business ventures, and in your personal lives. Today is episode 1 of 2022. We are still continuing the theme of the Great Recalculation, because in this new year, we are recalculating so many things in our lives. And one of those is like new jobs or our new salaries. And that's going to be our main topic for today. We're going to talk about new year, new jobs, and new salaries. But before we do, we're going to get into our weekly rewind. And Derek, let's take us through your weekly rewind.
Sure. So there was this article, like I can't find it, but I definitely did skim it. But basically it took on the theme of the Great Resignation, but the twist was that it's saying that a lot of people that are here from other countries are going back home rather than staying in the states. Not only for like salary reasons, but because the world is remote now. So I don't need to be in Texas when I have family back in, just give me a country, the UK or something like that. But it was a very interesting take, I think, because another set of news that I'll share, but I'll go into more detail. But I did start a new role as a tech recruiter at a company. So being able to, that first week was very, very crazy. So you are seeing a lot of people from overseas that are applying for, jobs in the US. But I think, there is going to be like a big push of people leaving the States, because it's, if I have the, the chance to work from home, I don't need to actually be there. Companies are going fully remote now. I feel like there's been a talk about going hybrid, but those bigger companies, I'm telling you now, they are all going remote. You'll be hybrid in the event if, for instance, if there's like, it's like some type of like, a satellite office, but for the most part, everybody's working from home. I think that's going to be the new thing, like the new wave, like it's what we all wanted. So it's I think it's going to show like its head in terms of it's going to be something that's going to be, just like standard. But I mean, for me, I feel like people are just getting tired of just like being here, like honestly and truthfully, like and if I can take my idea to my like, country and basically just like make it better and just make it for like my people, I think that is the most empowering thing that a lot of people are like really, just like starting to do now. So it was a really, really good take, but I definitely want to hear how you feel about that, Chris.
All right, so you're going to force me into sort of a confession here.
Uh-oh.
So over the break, I did some deep thinking, and I started to identify several states outside of New York in which I would like to live. So this is partly because New York is expensive, and it is enabled by the fact that we're all remote. The other factor here that I was considering is how friendly is the state to immigrants. And then the other factor is climate, actually. So I tend to do better in warmer areas. So that's kind of hard because there aren't many warm weather places or like places in the South that have the immigrant friendly policies that I was looking for. So although Florida or Texas would be great in terms of weather and income tax, right? Regarding immigration policy, I probably wouldn't enjoy it too much down there.
Yeah.
So that became difficult. And then I see just, New York and California as other options, but again, it's super expensive. So in making that assessment, I took it one step further. What if I just left? What if I just left this country that, in a lot of respects, hasn't treated immigrants like me fairly. So instead of, struggling here, and again, struggling is very relative here, right? I've run a business that's brought in six figures, so I'm not struggling as much as like a lot of other people in this country and throughout the world. So I definitely recognize that. But I started thinking about Dubai, right, as one step removed from the US. And then I was like, well, let me go back to my Asian roots. And like I started looking up Thailand. I think the Philippines isn't kind of quite where I wanted to be for me to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
But Thailand, Singapore, Australia.
Booming. Well, Australia, they're still on lockdown, so I don't know if you want to go there yet.
Well, aside from COVID, but
yeah,
in terms of starting over and like the excitement of that and the possibilities and maybe not having to deal with the constraints that I find here.
Mm-hmm.
Even though like I love this country and what it's offered me, my family, and I'm pretty damn confident that I have contributed to various communities within this country, where I feel like my legacy is set even if I unfortunately pass away like suddenly. Like I'm good with my professional legacy, but then there's these like individual goals that I have that is so hard to attain here, particularly. So that's my confession. Yeah, I was looking far, right? Far, far, far. And yeah, so
I am. Do not blame you. Just, I mean, I can only think of the impact that you could do with what you've done here overseas. Like it'll be massive. So, I mean, and the warm weather doesn't hurt either.
That's right. And also, look, everybody wants to talk about the diversity, equity, inclusion space. What's being left out here is kind of like the international flavor, right? You see a lot of companies that originated in South America that are now, being bought out by American companies. Well, some of those companies are going to stay as standalone, so they're actually hiring American talent. And now we have to adjust the other way because now we got to adapt to South American business norms. And imagine, folks having to do that with, norms in the Middle East or in Asia. And that's the next level of DEI that folks aren't prepared for here. But as someone who has lived on two other continents, like I might be ready for that.
All right. Well, just know if you go to Dubai, I definitely want that invite. That'll be the only place I will skydive.
Oh, okay. All right. Right.
But what's on your weekly rewind?
I think the weekly rewind for me is really just reflecting on the markets. So we generally expected a Santa Claus rally, but instead we're getting a Grinch rally. To the downside, if you're long stocks, and I know I have felt that pain because I have been in growth stocks, but that's not in favor right now, especially as the Fed kind of signals rate increases. So I know those are going to be hurt, but I also, in reflecting on it, like I got greedy in 2021, and I lost the long-term focus. So when I sit back and think of like the size of my portfolio, outperformance that I had up until last year, right? I'm like, you know what? I'm not in a horrible place. Um, and I know why I was like underperforming towards the last half of last year. Um, I know why I'm feeling a little bit of pain, like many others in the beginning of this year. But I also have a long-term vision for my portfolio, and it's not like I need that money ASAP, ASAP. And I'm still fairly young, still fairly healthy. So it's a good 20, 25 years for me to worry about, having to pull out money from
Yeah.
that.
For me, the way how I see it, like I was telling you earlier, one of the biggest things I learned is to like really not to read charts, but to look at the trends. So, for instance, Bitcoin is down. A lot of cryptos are down. But what I look at is I'll look like probably like a year or like 6 months back to see what was that low point and how long did it take to reach its new high. For a lot of the times, it's between like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, but I it's all, like it always happens. So I'm not worried at all that there's like this type of like downfall. Like you and I have been always been saying, if you have that extra cash on hand, this is that time to get into stocks that you never thought that you probably could. Because I think it was, I don't know if it was like the week before Christmas, like there was a lot of things on sale. I definitely picked up some Coca-Cola. Um, Coca-Cola was one. I think I picked up some Nike too. But I was like, these are good prices to get in because I missed when it was super low. So I was like, you know what, let me just jump in now.
So
Um,
I did
yeah.
some stuff balancing during the break. So I bought a Silicon Valley Bank, which I had in 2020 and helped me recover from the pandemic lows. I bought Texas Capital Bank shares, so it's another bank,
Mhm.
and I'm actually up above 10% on both of those, and they make up about 5% of my entire portfolio each. So like I'm not scared. Like I was still reason reason like I still took action, right? So I didn't
Mhm.
panic. I sold a few things that I thought I could use that money for something else. But I even bought a little bit of Matterport today, and at towards
Mhm.
the low, so I'm up about 6% on that on the most recent buy.
There you go. See, I'm telling you, just have cash on hand. That is the biggest lesson that you taught me, as well as just me just being in like this market. Keep cash on hand because you never know when the bad times will happen. They thought Santa Claus was coming, but Grinch all day.
But just long term view. Like I tried my hand at options. It was great beginning of last year, but I
Yeah.
think like who am I? I'm a long term view person, and you should invest accordingly based on like who you are. And
Talking about we are, let's move on to the next topic, the main topic at that. Uh, New job. Well, sorry, new year, new job, new salary. Like
right.
I alluded to before, your boy is a talent advising partner. That's the title that I got. But basically, I am recruiting for this company called Smarsh. Basically, a communications compliance like platform. So think of it like for any like highly regulated company that it has to report to like any type of like governing body. We definitely help them in terms of making sure that we can archive all of that info collected over like 80 different streams and all that. As you can see, the pitch is working. So this is my pitch practice right here. But basically, as a talent advising partner, it's basically like TA. So I have a set number of roles to recruit for. Um, I love it so far. Like everything's cool. I feel like when it comes to like my schedule, I get to make what that actually looks like. And being in this talent space, we're definitely seeing a lot of people moving. Um, I feel like my first week was, well, the first few days was me just like learning, but for me, I feel like for me to learn, I have to actually like do it. So I kind of got a head start on like sourcing, but basically there were, I want to say like a good 50 people I reached out to via to LinkedIn, and everyone replied back. They was like, I'm looking to move. I'm looking for something different. I need to get out from where like I'm at. I want it to be, remote. I want to have a six-figure salary. Literally everyone has told me they want a six-figure salary. There's no one saying I want like a high 80s, high 90s. No, I want a six-figure salary. And honestly and truthfully, you can't be mad at people for, just like asking that. I think, people want to say, oh, inflation this, inflation that, but it's more than inflation. I think these roles are becoming a lot more like needed. So you're definitely needed. For any side note, for anyone who knows Python and or cloud, you are good. You are a-okay. Azure, AWS, literally every company is hiring for someone that can work in the cloud. So that's my, hat, just like coming up. But basically like these salaries that people are asking for, just like I said, people are taking into account a lot of different things now. Even if the salary is not what if is not what they're asking for, they're looking for like other things. So like, hey, do you cover my, when it comes to like me going to the gym, do you cover that? Do you have like any bonuses? What's this what's your 401k like? Like they're asking, and it's funny because someone who's working in HR, you really don't hear new hires to ask about that like right away. It's more on the side of the people that are actually there that just have questions. But I like to see that these new hires are coming with like, hey, so what's this bonus structure like? What's this what's the org like? What's the compensation like in terms of like the benefits and all that? Like how, like what's that like? And so for me, I think a lot of people are recalculating exactly what what they had last year, and are coming to the table with something completely new. And I love it.
I want to hear some like wild asks or wild replies. I know you can't share too many details, but like any like really crazy asks people have had?
I haven't gotten one yet. I haven't gotten a crazy ask yet, but I know it's normal for people to ask like 50K to like 100K over to what like the average is. Because like I feel like, and that's like another thing. I feel like when people go on like Glassdoor and like PayScale, like they'll just look at what's the average and then what's the highest number, and they'll go with that highest number. Like there's no like, I'm gonna do 80 because that's the average. I'm gonna go with the 240 because I see that's the highest.
Yeah, so for me, and I think you've seen me give this advice either in large group settings or individual settings. Yeah, you can do that research. And then my question is to the talent, like, okay, so are you average? Do you think you're average? If you're average, then that's, I guess, the number you're going to gravitate towards. But again, like the talent that I work with, I try to point out the ways where they're well above average. And hopefully that is like one step in empowering them to advocate for a salary that's higher. So I'll pose this question right to you. It might get a little spicy, so I know you have to share all the personal details. But how did you think about and recalculate your salary expectations when you're applying for this role?
So for me, I have a lot of friends that are in like talent acquisition, and my first thing was like they were my just like resource. I'm like, so what are you making? And I feel like now the topic of money isn't something that people try to hide. I feel like they're like, yo, if I'm making this much, like you should too. So for me, like coming in there, it was doing my research. I mean, I looked at Glassdoor and PayScale, like stuff like that helps out. But being able to rely on my colleagues in terms of seeing what they make was very, very helpful, because I was able to get like an actual, reasonable type of amount. and they were saying like, you're doing this, you have to do this and do that. Maybe see if the company can pay for like your Wi-Fi or something like that, because like, that's something that would be like, I need Wi-Fi to work. So in order for me to work for you, you should like pay for it.
So I'm starting to see these lists pop up, and then people make graphics out of it. Name, title, picture of them, and then their salary. So yes, it is helpful. I'm glad this is happening, but I also do want to point out that there's a lot of people that don't want to share because they feel like they're not getting paid enough.
That's
So
another thing.
what we're seeing is like we're seeing like the higher end, and for folks who are sharing, all I see are six figures.
Mm.
So this is part flexing. I'll put that out there. Like if anybody wants to deny that, I doubt that. I doubt that, right? So it's part flexing, while also, you know, you are being helpful overall. But
Yeah.
I will go. I will stick to my thought of like, if you're on the higher end on the salary scale, yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna be more willing to share. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of flex for you. Yeah, you've earned it. I do hope people acknowledge the role of luck, both on the positive side, but also on the negative side, because there are a lot of people who are underpaid, who are just as skilled, um, and factors outside of their control contributed to that. And I
Mm.
want those people to know it's okay if you don't share your salary. It's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. And it's also, I'm not gonna say okay, but there's pieces of context that people don't understand that might, contribute to why someone might be underpaid. Maybe it's because they have to take fewer hours or a lesser role so that they can spend time, caring for loved ones or
Mm.
raising a family. That's not captured in a snapshot: name, title, pay, right? Because that's nice and easy. So I do like the transparency of it, but let's be clear: the transparency is skewed on the higher earners,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when people look at those lists, just keep that in mind. And also, you have to gauge your own skill set. So if folks are like way more skilled than you, um, then yeah, they should get paid more. And
Mm.
it probably wouldn't be a reasonable ask for you to have that same salary target. So
Yeah.
what I think might be more valuable is making sure that the skill sets are attached to those salaries.
Exactly. One thing I'll say like that I notice about me is that with the role that I'm in, like I've done it before. So there's no like learning curve. There's no like I need to, learn on like the job. Is just you plug me in and I can make an impact like right away. So I think you need to take that into consideration also in terms of like when you're asking for that like salary. Um just because you don't want to, I mean, well, yeah, just when you think about your skill set, are you the type that needs to learn something or the type that can just like plug and play? And I feel like a lot of companies want that plug and play, and they'll pay more for that plug and play.
Yeah, so for me, like when I think about the role that you have now, even though I don't have like talent acquisition in my
You
resume,
definitely do have it. Yeah, but you
um,
can do
yeah,
it.
I got all the skill sets around it, right? But for me, when I'm thinking about the new year and like the new jobs and the new sectors around me, I have to first start with not me, but like the folks that I've served, like throughout my career. Uh,
Mhm.
I know that someone on the Grand Answers team who was really instrumental in like helping me with accounting, bookkeeping, just keeping all the finances in order so that we can bring in six figures in like one of the toughest like business environments that we're ever going to live in. Like that person, I helped her secure like another role.
Mm.
right? And I took it through various parts of that application process. So one, I was a reference, and just so happens that the person who reached out, I had met when I was very visible in immigrant rights advocacy. So I spent 30 minutes going over all the wonderful things that this candidate did for Grand Answers, my company. And also, since I had known this person like since high school, I I literally had this conversation that stemmed from knowing um, her from like ninth grade.
Mm.
And I knew that there was another candidate for that role. It was an operations role, but it was in a leadership position. And I got the sense that, you know, my friend who had worked with me like may not be number one on that list. So I went super hard in terms of advocating, and later that day got the news that she was offered the role.
Mm.
And then again, I want to see my people through. So helping her advocate for even more than the initial offer, which she got. And why this was critical is because this was actually a pivot into a tech company, a YC, Y Combinator backed company.
Mm.
Um, and all of its like original team members, they came from Google. So when my like she's always going to be a teammate in my eyes, right?
Yeah.
And she still helps in a consultant role. Um, but she had set out this goal, and I had always kept that in mind. Like I'm going to help you find a tech role,
Mm.
and this was that first pivot into it, and I'm so proud of her. And then I think about, before the holidays, um, one young lady who again like collaborated in terms of career classes and carrying out the career curricula I've built out. Um, she she first learned about like the Google Bold um, application from me for this year. I had sent it out to a few folks and encouraged people to apply. And even though she's like super talented and has a stellar resume, she wasn't very sure about
Mm.
the Google Bold internship. And we had a couple of sessions to prep. We did some situational and behavioral questions. Um, uh, when I felt like she was stressing, like we would be on text and I'd do some random things just to get her mind off of it.
Mm.
And, a week later, found out that she got the role.
Sounds like you need a career in talent acquisition, Chris. You need to come over to the
Um,
dark side.
we'll see what happens. I'm, DM's always open. Um, and then this week, right? And again, this I'm giving like a nice varied view of like how I'm seeing new salaries and new roles. So what one person who is from my alma mater that I helped place our alma mater from City College, who
Go Beavers.
that's right, go Beavers, help place or help train, and they got a nice role short of 100K, just short of 100K back in 2020. Um, but come to find out that within about a year, um, it's now up to 125K. So
Mm.
it's a nice 30% bump up in salary just over a year. And, this person is just like a couple of years out of college,
Mm.
right? And, these wins, like, look, I make it clear it was always in them. I'm just there to help bring that out a little bit more. And, they put in so much work. Really proud of them. That they should be proud of themselves. But like I say, most of the time, it ain't an accident that they either learned under what Grant Answers has built out for orgs or under me directly in some cases. So I'm really proud of them. And so many others I could name, and also Derek, like just knowing your previous role, you had a hand in some of these as well that I've been seeing. So thank you for all that partnership. And when I think about my own, look, I made a little tweak to my LinkedIn description. You will see something new that says that I am identifying myself as a career and leadership coach for immigrants. I think that is something that I was reluctant to take ownership of, because I did not want to limit myself as someone who only helps immigrants. But during the break, I started reflecting on it. And it's not like I'm just helping immigrants, but because of my visibility in the past, because of my impact in the past, and also some of the work that I have lined up for 2022, there is no better person than me to take ownership of that. And
be the leader.
And it is not just my suggesting it to myself, it is also hearing it from other people. So as part of one of my recalculations, I'm going to end up doing a little bit of work throughout the year that will impact immigrants across over a dozen California campuses. And this might, cover everything from scholarships to, college access and college completion, to a little bit of career prep. So that content is going to be set for a lot of talented folks out in the West Coast. But that work probably won't just reside in the West Coast. There'll be some impact in other regions as well. So that's part of some recalculations on my end. And it is a new year, comes with new opportunities. I'm open for more. I know we're going to talk about poaching in our closing segment. I haven't put up all the hard scales that makes it easy for me to get poached. But let's just say in previous years, I have had more than a few emails that reached out to see if I was interested in various roles. And again, my DM's open, and I'm pretty forthcoming about how I can be contracted, how Grant Answers can be pulled in to deliver some excellent work for orgs, startups, and corporations.
Awesome. That is a beautiful way to end this main topic. I think hearing about all of your growth, all of your things that are coming down the pipeline not only inspires me, but it should touch the hearts of all of our listeners. So with that being said, Chris, let's move on to the final segment of our show. Right move, right now. Wait, what do you got?
For me, it's poaching season. So once the year turns, you have folks like Derek or other recruiters.
I'm coming for y'all.
Right? Other recruiters, they're coming in with like big budgets, and they see a lot of roles yet to be filled, right? And that's not good on their metrics, right? And they want to make a good impression. So they're going to try to lure people who are already at companies. And that might come with opportunities for you to switch jobs with higher compensation packages. So my right move right now is I want every professional out there who is even at the slightest, like if you're thinking about possibly entertaining other roles, have a very distinct, clear set guidelines of what would make you leave your current role. Like the best time to be hired for a role is when you're currently in a role. I want to repeat that one more time.
Say for the people in the back.
Hired for a role is when you're already in a role. Think about it. You're already employed. They don't have to ask that question, like why you're not employed. They don't have to wonder, right? They know you're currently working, and because you're currently working, it's assumed that you're doing a decent job because you're still working there.
Mhm.
So this is your shot, and I suggest you have a set number where anything below, you're not even looking at it. For me, it's 120K, right? I know for some people, they might think that I'm actually lowballing myself, but I'm also introducing other factors like equity, right?
Yes.
And also like flexibility in terms of schedule. So if someone wants to offer me like 80K to do a set of work that's only like half a year, I'll be open to that, because if you prorate that, that's 160K for the full year, right? And this is not just for me individually. I'm also speaking in terms of the company, Grand Answers. So same thing for the contracts, for the company. So that's, I have my limits, 120K minimum, and then options to get equity, and then that flexibility, and how long I have to do the work, and like those are all factors that I'll consider. But yeah. Everybody.
My quick 2 cents about poaching. So I don't want to say like it's happened. I mean, it's not like it's happening, because I feel like with a few candidates that I reached out to last week, a lot of them were saying like, oh, like I've been reached out to a recruiter from like, Google or like Amazon or something like that, and they have the budget. So literally I've been trying to sell like the other things besides salary. So I feel like salary is like that thing, but you got to think of like the total compensation. Like what are you getting? What do you want? And you mentioned like that, that equity, that flexibility. I feel like the fact that if you have the the chance to kind of set your own just like schedule, that's amazing. In terms of how you set up like like your work day, if there's like bonuses that are within like the actual salary, so you get your actual salary on top of a bonus. Like how frequent does like that bonus happen, the benefits and all that. So yes, the salary is like the leading thing, but also think about what are those like other factors that come into play. And I will say that these poachers, like I said, Chris, they are ruthless, because they are coming with like, oh, they offered you what? We'll offer you 210. Like, what? Like, no. Like, come on. This is my candidate. But right move right now for me is gonna be to, it's playoff time. Playoff time brings out the best. I feel like in every sport, I don't care what sport it is. Once they say playoffs, I am watching. And this weekend, there was a very good game to decide who was going to go to the playoffs besides between the Raiders and the Chargers. And it came down to an overtime. So shout outs to, Vegas for finally getting there. Derek Carr finally got to the playoffs, but for NFL, the playoffs kick off on Saturday. So I'm going to be watching football this entire weekend.
Those players just got a playoff bonus.
All of them, yes.
All of them.
And right. I think that was there was like another post that was out there too that basically showed how contracts are set. Like, say for instance, if you get like 100 touchdowns, I mean, like that's wild, but if you get like 100 touchdowns, you get like an extra million. So they literally laid out all of the people who were like this close to getting their bonus. I know Gronk got his. I think he needed like an extra like 15 yards or something like that. So Brady made sure. TJ Watt needed a sack, and he got his sack. I've never seen someone so hungry for a sack in my life. He was like, if I get this sack, this is an extra meal in my pocket. Who else? Cooper Cup. I think he got his bonus too, but they were like, like just just like other people. But I feel like the fact that they showed the transparency in terms of like, yo, if you reach this, then you get like this bonus. People were playing so hard for like, this last game.
So I'll piggyback off of this really quickly. This might be a main topic down the line. Your bonus structures, companies, like you need incentive bonuses. And actually, I would hope that Talent advocates for incentive clauses in their contracts, right? And some companies don't do that, but I mean, you can't get it if you don't ask, right? So incentive clauses might be super helpful. You'll see this a little bit more in terms of like sales roles. If you hit certain goals, you'll get bonuses. But I think companies need retention bonuses because you need that to offset these recruiters who are trying to poach your talent. So if companies out there, if you don't have a retention bonus funding pool, you're gonna have a tough time, right? And this is in addition to your holiday bonuses and other seasonal or like performance bonuses that you already have lined up. But these retention bonuses, and again, finding maybe avenues for clever incentive clauses might be in order.
All right, I think that's a good way to wrap up the show. Any last? I mean, rest in peace, Bob Saget. That was a lot. Bob Saget, Betty White.
James Ntume. So
Sidney Poitier too.
Yeah, like there's a lot of legendary folks who passed away over the past couple of weeks, since break. And I think this is another, collection of reminders to, treat yourselves well and make sure you let the people you care about know that you care about them. It should not take people passing away for you all to do that. So with that, I'm going to say, Derek, this show doesn't start without you, without that phone call in February of last year. I have very much appreciated the work we did together at a previous org. I love the fact that we come from the same school. We're totally aligned. And I really appreciate all that you've done for me and supporting my own work and also our work together here at the Risk Reward Show.
Yeah, I echo that. I can't even begin to tell you how much I learned from you. Like, even though you're not like teaching me, like you're teaching me in a lot of different areas. So for that, I do want to say thank you. Like we are on episode 44. Like, who would have thought that phone call like would have sparked that? So I'm happy to be doing the show with you. Like I know we have like a lot of thoughts and ideas that we will be doing. And I really just can't wait to see like what this actually grows like into. So thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
All
and
right.
thank you to the audience. So please follow, share, like we truly appreciate you all too. And we will be trying out some moves on LinkedIn to grow the audience and get more people plugged into the show so we can all help you all find the upside in all aspects of your lives.
There you go. All right. We'll see you all next week. Maybe on another platform. Who knows? All right.